in VIP, all eyes on me. Yeah, where the come from? This is how your night should be. All eyes on me.
All eyes on the prize, money supersized. G5 super fly, should be supervised. Do or die, open up your eyes, head to the sky. Keep a mean bad mommy on the side. Make a tsunami, kamikaze on the mind. Spit flow, paparazzi flash shine. Get dough, champagne, Merlot. Cash and tango, in the VIP. Now she wanna touch her ankle. Get low, mueve mami como el dembow. All eyes on me, peeping through the window. Get mine, get yours, believe it or not. In the meantime, I'ma keep my eyes on the
All
top.
eyes on me, drinks on me, girls on me, on the dance floor. All eyes on me, who is he? Man, you better come get your girls out. All eyes on me, party like a rock star. You can find me in VIP. All eyes on me, yeah, where the girls are. This is how your night should be.
Hey, everybody, Ali Mehdaoui with a brand new installment of the ME Show and your strategic partner. I am super excited and happy to be here with you again once in another fire episode. And today I am super excited. This is the very first time that we're going to have a collegiate athlete who just graduated, started a career. Ladies, hold on. Yes, he is pretty handsome. I will tell you that. And I also got his parents across the table from him. So I'm going to talk about those ladies' questions. I'm going to enjoy seeing dad and mom staring at him as he's giving me that answer. So today's episode is brought to you by Activity First PT, and you got to go to activityfirstpt.com. They are located in 158 Wyckoff Road in Eatontown, New Jersey, and I am super excited, and I can tell you my endorsement because I actually have hurt myself over the years many times. Remember those snowboarding videos everybody was laughing about? Yup, I got fixed by this man, the myth, the legend that you're going to be hearing from today. It is a family business. It is an incredible environment. I sometimes think that I hurt myself on purpose just so I can go in to watch TV and hang out with Mr. Gonzalez. So you're going to be hearing a little bit more about that and a whole lot more. An incredible week that we just had in front of us. The Donald Trump got shot in the ear. Joe Biden saying that he's going to step down. Republicans are saying we're going to sweep it all. Democrats are saying, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you and I are still in here saying, I don't need no sugar daddy. I'm going to go work for my money, and I'm going to do it the right way. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot to cover, a lot to talk about. With us in the studio today, we got the handsome, the amazing, the incredible. He is fit, too. He kind of made me a little bit feel intimidated because of how handsome he is. And that is one and only none other than Alex Gonzalez in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, Mr. Alex? I'm so glad to have you, man. I am good. I've never seen a collegiate athlete blush. This is good. I'm enjoying it. Across the table, as if this would be an interrogation, we have mom and dad, aka the one and only Kevin Gonzalez, and of course the beautiful, amazing, incredible, fantastic, the one and only. That's what you wanted me to say, right? Denise Gonzalez in the building with us, and I'm so grateful and happy to have you all in here, not only as a family, but to give me the opportunity to do this interview with you specifically. I don't know if you know, but your parents and I have been talking about you for a very, very long time. And it's always been like, yeah, when he's in town, when he's in town, when he's in town. So I guess we had to wait until you graduate to get this interview going.
He was telling me probably a month or two before I graduated, oh, I got one of my friends who wants to interview you. Like when you come home, maybe you could do when you come home. I was like, Dad, let me wait till I graduate college, figure out what's going on. And then once I get situated and everything, then I'll shoot him a text and we can get this thing moving and everything like that.
That's amazing. Note to self, Rich, we got to take this note. He said, and I quote, he said, one of my friends, there's a word there, friends. I am not crying. You're crying, but this is a moment.
Good friends.
Good. Ooh, okay. All right. Good. I see what's happening in here. No, well, listen, let me tell you, it genuinely feels like I've known this man for a very, very long time. I think the very first time I've come to Activity First was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think we watched 2 World Cups together. It's literally like that, And since the very first day that I walked in there, you're always gracious. You always have a sense of this welcoming heart, whether the person knows you or not. And I love how non-negotiable you are about processes, systems, organizations. And that says a lot about who you are. And, it also is a reflection of the business itself. So give us a little bit about how you sir, got into the physical therapy world, and then we're going to come back to this gentleman
Okay.
in here.
Well, basically, when I was very young, I always knew I wanted to do something in the sciences, which surprised my parents. And I thought about being a doctor, being a dentist, being a lawyer, being anything. But and then I actually hurt my shoulder in grade school in sixth grade. I was throwing a basketball like a baseball, injured my shoulder, required surgery when I was in eighth grade. I'm sorry, when I was in ninth grade. And I went to a school up north, Seton Hall Prep. And as soon as you go to a school like Seton Hall Prep, they were like, what are you going to do? You have 4 years to make a decision. You know, you have to think of your vocation, think of what you're going to do. And at the time I was going through rehab for my shoulder. So I started asking a little bit more questions of my therapist at the time. And that's sort of what sealed the deal. So when I was a freshman, sophomore in high school, I knew that I wanted to be a physical therapist.
Interesting.
So then the rest of that guided the rest of my my academic career in high school. So from my junior and senior year, when some of my classmates and friends were taking other classes just to get through as an elective, I took like a physics 2, a biology 2, and just to try to stay on pace, it would make me more attractive when I applied to physical therapy schools in college.
I see. Speaking of attractive, a little bit about, I'm telling you everything that he told me to say. He sent me a whole list,
I
and
did.
it was 911. You must do all of this,
Okay.
or else he said, I am walking out.
How much is he paying?
So I'll tell you later. You got to sign a non-disclosure agreement for that information. Tell me a little bit about your background and how did you get into the space? Was there a desire for physical therapy, or was it just the nature of, hey, I'm going to support and get into the business? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm a marketing business major, so I
You
started
speak my
doing
language.
that. Yes, I started doing that, and then I went into a little bit of HR and some recruiting, and then of course I had my beautiful 3 boys.
Mm.
So in the middle of all that, Kevin and I met. Well, prior to that, but
They're my boys, by the
yeah, there's.
In case we were
Yes,
wondering.
okay, yeah. The way she was out of order with
I'm
the
kind of out of order. But, Kevin and I met, got married. We had the kids. I worked for a little bit, commuting up to Edison. And then Kevin had made it he was working corporate PT. And then he decided to leave the corporate world and start his own practice. So that's kind of like when I, decided, I want to stay home with the kids. I want to be more available for the kids. And then he roped me into working with him at the office. And that's how I got started with that.
And you said absolutely no problem.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I was
All
there.
right, good. No, that's fantastic. All right, so 16 years of your life were dedicated to this young man. Baseball, and I do know that baseball requires not only commitment because of the amount of games and the amount of practices and gear and the money behind it, and then traveling. I know a lot of parents that I see around that they will say out loud, I'm never going to let my kid do hockey, or I'm never going to let my kid do this sport and whatnot. It's too expensive. And I think that is understandable, but I think it's a little bit selfish, like, why don't you try, put some type of effort into that? Talk to me about, was it an easy decision for you, or, was it, hey, we can afford it, or did you have to make some sacrifices to invest? Because it's not just about the sport, but it's about the results from school and the results of a career now that's ahead of him because of the discipline and keeping him out of trouble with the sports. So tell me a little bit about, what was that like?
Well, from a very young age, him and his 2 brothers, they always played sports. And regarding baseball, as he started to move up with playing more competitive leagues, we were forced, in order for him to keep pace with some of the other leagues that he was out there, and hopefully to play at the school level and the collegiate level, which he was able to do that. We had to play in these showcase league, travel and showcase, and they are expensive. There's a lot of travel. We would travel to South Carolina, we travel up to Connecticut, we travel pretty much all over Virginia, all over the East Coast. But it was worth it. I remember someone tells me when I was sort of at the office talking with one of my patients, because as you know, we get very personal. We talk about just things at the office. And I said, you know what, there's a lot of money I spend on these kids, And then he looks at me, he goes, keeps them out of trouble, right? I was like, yeah. He goes, beats bail money. I was like,
That's
yeah, I never
right.
thought of it that way, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
Yeah, it's true.
it is true. And then it's not only baseball. He actually played hockey and ice hockey in high school as well.
Yep.
He played ice hockey when he was younger as well. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
And but baseball's expensive too. You buy a bat for a 12-year-old kid, it could be $300-400 for a bat that you might use one season, and then the next year they outlaw that bat for one reason or another. So you spend another $300-400 on another bat. So, but the sacrifices are all worth it. And thank God that all three of my boys, our sacrifices, both financially and time wise, they understood that. They,
Yeah.
you know, they
And
absolutely they appreciate it. They know what we've done, and Alex is grown into a very fine young man. And you know, I think it's from everything that he's learned from just sports and just keeping tabs on the way we do things. And he's just made some very good decisions in his life.
I love that. Alex, let me come to you.
Of course.
Any girlfriend?
I do. I am taken.
Ah.
Sorry, ladies.
Sorry, ladies.
Fight to the death. How about that?
Dang,
Yeah, let's do a fight to the death.
you should have given me that disclaimer beforehand, because your girlfriend's gonna watch the intro and she's gonna be like, I need that guy's address, So while you're looking at me, young lady, I just want you to know I am married. I've been married since high school with my high school sweetheart, and I support one relationship. I had no idea, and my apologies. He is handsome, intimidating.
And she is gorgeous.
She is
She's
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Yes,
Have
yes,
you
she-
seen
And
him?
she
I wouldn't be
is also
surprised.
a collegiate athlete.
A collegiate
Oh,
athlete. What sport?
Soccer. She actually just got inducted to her high school Hall of Fame
Wow.
in South Jersey. Yep. So
Wow. There's a little glow in your eyes. Tell me
Yeah,
really how
I
you
know.
feel about her.
she's a great athlete. She really is.
Good. I like that. I see how you did. That was a good professional, like I
I
said.
had to give her some spotlight. Yeah, come on.
I love
She's
that.
not here, but I got to give her some spotlight.
So you played a few different sports.
Of course, yes.
Why baseball other than everything else, or was it just because you were kind of good at it?
I think that I was better at baseball compared to all other sports I played. I enjoyed ice hockey way more than baseball, and I was vocal about that with my parents. I loved the sport. But it was just so expensive, and to play college hockey was way harder, and I wasn't good enough to play college hockey, and you have to go to juniors, and you have to go this and that. So I just kind of was like, I'm going to play baseball in college. It'll help pay for tuition, because tuition's through the roof. Like, it's just ridiculous what these colleges are charging for a year of school. So whether it be at the Division 1, 2, 3 level, I didn't really mind. I'd want to play at the most competitive level I can, and that's what led me to Jefferson. And I could not say anything bad about my decision or my choices I've made there.
That's awesome. And I love that you talked about the tuition component. Me and you talked about my nephew Mason every now and then, basketball, little prodigy. And I asked his dad, because I think sometimes we live through our children what we wanted for ourselves, right? Like, and I see how Mason is, and even Bryson, our nephews, and I'm like, man, like NBA is watching, and they've been tagged by NBA players many times, like, this kid is gonna be the future. And I loved when his father said to me, it was right there, and he goes like, look, I just want him to have his college paid for, because in the NBA, one bad game, one bad injury, he's done. Right. He's like, but if I can get him a full ride in the best schools in the country, and he can use that education forever, I've done my job. And I appreciate that. That was the focus, especially, talk about, the NBA draft or the MLB draft. Every year you get 5 or 6 guys that get highlighted. Everybody else get 1 to 3 maybe years, and then they're done. Baseball, there's a lot more money in it, and I understand that. But if you're living for the limelight and the trophies and the dopamine, you're going to fail by the limelight, and that dopamine as well. Yep. What did you major in school?
So I majored in finance.
And why finance? Other than watching The Wolf of Wall Street.
Going into college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I know it was like business. I wanted to do something in business. And I was like, you know what? I asked my parents, and they were like, I was like, do I do business management? Do I do finance? They're like, just go do finance. Like, it's probably, with quotations on it, the best business degree you can get, because it's kind of like everything, And I went freshman year, did finance, loved it. Wasn't that bad. Obviously, took my normal accounting courses here and there. I liked accounting. I was always good at. That's actually funny, because now I'm a fund accountant, and I was good at accounting, but I didn't major in accounting. So whatever, put past it. Come my sophomore year, I remember calling my dad when I was at school. I was like, "Can I change my major?" And they were like, "To what?" I was like, "PT." I was like, maybe I'll take over the business. You remember I had that
remember.
conversation? And my dad was like, well, why do you want to do that? Like, why don't you just do finance? Kind of not really create your own path, but kind of like do your own thing, see where that takes you. You have a lot more options you can go doing finance compared to just nailing down just the PT. And I was like, I don't know. So then I looked into it. I mean, the extra classes I had to take, chem, physics, 1, 2, this and that. I was like, you know what, it's not worth it. So I'm just going to stick on my passive finance. So I went through the 4 years, got my degree in finance. And then when COVID hit, I had obviously school sent home, everything like that. Seasons canceled. I had that year of eligibility left, and all my friends were graduating. And most of my friends didn't take the year. They kind of just went, started working and everything. And not saying that I felt some type of way, but I did, because like my friends are graduating, they're going to go work, they're going to go make money. I wanted to do the same. Didn't really have many job offers or anything because I just came from the season, wasn't really looking or anything. And it was a talk for the summer, I think, with my parents back and forth. I didn't want to go back to school. They told me I should go back to school. And then I decided to go back to school. And I think it was probably one of the best decisions I make now, because the job that I have now that I love, that I just started, I wouldn't have had, because I wouldn't have been in that place.
Well, the other thing he left out there is he did graduate with his undergraduate. The decision that he was wrestling with was to go back for his master's.
Yes, for my MBA.
So that's where he had a discussion with his coach. His coach wanted him to come back, and he said, look, if you come back, I can do this for you financially, because when the academic money that he got was only for 4 years, and they wouldn't do that, but you can negotiate with the coach to bring you for that 5th year, since he had that for extra year of eligibility because of COVID.
Yeah.
So that's where he gave him, was able to help him out financially, the coach, and I'm thankful to him for doing that. And then that's what he used. Now he was able, because it was a master's program within his school, so he was able to take, if I'm not mistaken, he took some master's programs within his undergraduate program.
Yep.
So
Some
there
classes.
was some classes. So that way it was only 1 full year.
Yep.
If his 5th year, and then he was able to get his MBA.
Yeah.
How our schoolwork, it was like a 4-1 program, 4 years undergrad and 1 year to get your master's. And then your electives, you can choose, most kids choose like art, just like stupid, like little classes. And I was just like, screw it. Like, if I'm going to get these classes paid through my tuition,
Might as well go big.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what my mom told me. My mom was like, Alex, why are you going to waste these classes? Well, and I'm like, Mom, stop. Stop. Like, what? She's like, just take the classes. Screw it. I was like, Mom, it's going to be 10 times harder. She's like, yeah, but it's already paid for. Just take it. And if you're going to go back for your MBA, like, now you don't have to pay for those classes. And it all obviously worked out. Parents are always right. So
Wow.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
My
Yep.
gosh.
Yep.
You are
Yep.
not from this generation, my guy.
This check's in the mail. Too.
Yes.
Seriously. Let's talk, it's no surprise, for the last 4 to 8 years have been very weird. We live in a hashtag movements. We live in, very partisan political world. And nothing is normal anymore, right? Or maybe everything is normal, depending on who you are and what you're looking at. How was the environment like to you in school, looking at how everything has changed, being that you come from a fundamentally traditional household, meaning, you see a lot of colleges dealt with, protesting for movements and whatnot. Were you exposed to anything like that? Or was there any safe spaces that were in colleges, like in Jefferson's, or did you just kind of like avoid all that garbage and just kind of focus? And sorry if I call it garbage, I don't mean to offend anybody, but talk to me about the experience for you as a student while trying to figure out the new identities that are out there, especially here in the United States.
Definitely. So going to Jefferson, I mean, I went for baseball, was my main thing, baseball and then school, but it should be reverse, school and baseball. But program was awesome. Our coach did a good job of keeping us out of trouble and fighting our battles, not fighting our battles for us, but if we got in trouble, like he would go, and if we were right and we were getting in trouble for something that we shouldn't be getting in trouble with, he'd go and he'd have our back, he'd talk and everything like that, and kind of fight for us, in a sense. So he kind of kept us away from that kinds of stuff. Like, we had a couple Palestine protests throughout campus. We had CBS News there, all these different news stations there getting it. And I remember we were in the weight room, kids were walking around our dining halls. That's when the protests were coming through, kind of, and everything like that. On the main parking lot. And our coach actually sent a message and got us all to the field because we had practice. It was a little later on in the day, but he just kind of keeps us away from everything.
Yeah.
He just says just stay away, don't get involved. And that's pretty much it, because you get in trouble, now not only can you suffer on the baseball field, but depending on how kids would take it, because every kid takes something different. If they're not playing baseball, maybe now they're going to slack in school, and then now the AD is going to get their reports and everything like that, and then now our coach is going to be on fire because we have a kid failing in X amount of classes because now he can't play baseball.
Interesting. That's insane. How did you maintain from a business perspective? Again, you get people from all kind of walks of lives. Sometimes, we're even I know, like, I mean, you're getting treatment and you hear conversations in this corner, conversation in that corner. You're like, I'm just gonna mind my business. I'm not gonna try.
Right.
How do you maintain that sense of neutrality?
You hit it right on the head. I try to be as neutral as possible, because you might have a conversation with one person, but 10 feet away from you, there could be someone else that has a completely different political mindset. And sometimes they'll jump into the conversation and it could get out of hand. I've been in the office when that has happened many years ago. So I try to avoid that. If someone brings up something politically, and it's something politically, confrontational conversation, I try to avoid it. I just sort of yes, and try to be as polite as I can. And over the years, you learn how to try to control the conversation to steer it away from something that could be a little, offensive to some other people at the office.
Would you say that you are just as diplomatic about?
Yes. Anything politics, religion, it shouldn't really be discussed.
You give the
Yeah,
makes sense.
Sure.
Totally get
Absolutely.
it.
Sure.
I remember a mentor of mine. He says, you can either be right or you can be rich, and not necessarily in money. Rich in wisdom, rich in health, rich in prosperity. So if you want to deal with some knucklehead who that makes total sense.
Yeah,
You
right.
are absolutely right. No, I totally get it. Hey, we're going to take a little bit of a break. And after we do come back, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into all things family business, family raising children, and of course, what it means to you and everything that you have learned from these two fine individuals to carry on, whether it's a legacy or figuring it out still. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Ali Mehdaoui in here with the ME Show and your strategic partner. Man, we are so diving in with the Gonzalez family. And remember, this episode is brought to you by Activity First Physical Therapy. And I personally have had Kevin Gonzalez hands they were on me many times. It's a thing that we joke about all the time. But the man's got magical hands, and I'm forever grateful for that. And I promise you, I am working on an injury very, very soon.
Okay, no problem.
The Olympics are right around
That's
the
right.
corner. Yes.
Yes.
We got to watch some
Gotta
stuff
watch.
together. Okay, so Alex, I'm gonna come back to you. Growing up in a Gonzalez household, I mean, you are, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, as that quote says it, and you definitely might not realize it, but I see a lot of who your parents are in you, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and of course your discipline and such. So tell me a little bit, how was it growing up in a Gonzalez household? If you were to sum it up, what would that have looked like, other than Friends and Big Bang Theory?
Well, a lot of bickering between my brothers. I'll tell you that. But another thing is like you nailed it on discipline. Parents were able to teach us a lot of discipline at a young age, and kind of.
Who was more strict?
My dad, definitely my dad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. My dad's definitely way more strict. My mom, she's strict when she wants to be. But she'll have her moments when she's like strict, and then she kind of just lets it go. As we got older, though, my dad is just way more strict than my mom. My mom just it's just do you.
Yeah.
But if it's like bad, then then my mom will step in and
You already know when mom steps in, it's really bad.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the leash has grown as we got older, obviously, but when we were younger, it was a lot of discipline, knowing what's right and wrong, why things are right and wrong, and manners was a big thing as well.
Yeah. What if you were to think about the one thing that you can remember that you did that you're like, man, I can't believe I did that when I was young in the Gonzalez household? What was that? You're smiling. And which one do I want? Yeah, give me one.
I mean,
There's
many,
probably things we don't know.
Yeah,
There-
that's all right. Here we go.
there are many windows that have been broken in my house.
From what, baseball?
Golf ball, hockey puck, baseball, basketball, nonetheless. I have no idea how that happened.
Nobody knows, Ollie. Nobody ever knows how.
Interesting. The mystery of
We have,
all.
we have a mystery child at home
Yes.
also.
Oh
That's
my.
who breaks all the windows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Out of the three boys, if you were to describe the three boys in their own ways, how would you describe, this one is, and that one is? If you were to give them, like,
Oh, I
for
don't
me,
know.
I'll tell
That's a
you.
tough one.
Well, I'm not asking who was your favorite.
No,
but,
I'm not saying you're
Me.
I'm saying, yeah, right. Like for me, Sebastian is the wisdom, well-spoken child in the house. Isabel is the MMA, I'm a kick your ass, Sebastian, if you don't get out of my face, right? Like that's their characteristics. Like
right.
Sebastian is scared of Isabel, as little and tiny as she
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
right? But Sebastian will give me a seminar trying to describe how he wants his peanut butter and jelly. Like he will literally take the time and describe how symmetrical it needs to be and why is it important to use this specific knife over it. That's how Isabel's like grilled cheese. She doesn't care. So how would you describe the kids from their characteristics, or
The oldest is a little bit like Sebastian. He's my more,
he
methodical
will speak
thinker.
and think. Yeah.
He's very diplomatic.
Yeah.
He's very structured. Alex is very structured, very, but he'll tell you what he's feeling.
Good.
Kind of like no, sometimes
I get
there's
that a
no
lot.
filter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I admit to that. I
Yeah,
admit to that. I have no
he
filter. I
has
kind of
some
say.
filter.
I don't play hide behind the bush, go this way, that way. It's
Yeah.
straight to the point. And
Good.
That's just who I am.
Okay.
My youngest, Andrew, he's completely no filter. Absolutely no filter.
No
I mean, I have a little bit of a filter.
Yeah, he has a little
has
bit.
no
He has no
filter. He doesn't
Andrew
care
has
who it is,
no
where it is.
filter, and he's okay with it.
Yeah, that's
He's
all right.
comfortable, and he tells you he's going to tell you honestly, and
No, Andrew is still in college, right?
he is still in college. He also attends Jefferson.
That's awesome. Is he also playing baseball?
Yes.
He's going into his third year.
So,
Junior.
so all three boys played sports.
My oldest didn't play in college, but he plays.
Okay.
He's actually playing. He took up hockey more so than
Big hockey
baseball.
guy.
Yeah,
Big hockey. He plays like on a roller hockey team that's
Yeah.
like half professional.
Is he like
semi-pro.
physical when it like because hockey has that fighting side of it?
He,
That
he
He
plays.
can.
It's a no checking league, but
Yeah.
there are some tournaments where they're allowed to get more physical than others.
and
So,
you've seen him get physical.
on
I've seen him punch a guy.
Yeah.
Well, one game that
Yeah.
I watched him, I saw him punch a guy. Just they were in front of the net, whistle stopped. The other kid was just being just a dick and pretty much like it was hitting the goalie. So Daniel comes over and pushes him. Next thing you know,
Hey, Rich, We're
might
not
have to edit
editing that.
that.
No. Mm-mm.
What I tell you about the
Ew,
filter? Did I tell
we
you?
are not.
There's
Hey,
a
Rich,
filter.
we are not editing that. We are so keeping that. As a matter of fact, we got to create a reel with that. Mark that time. I want a side shot with Dad because you should see Dad's face. We're like, what just happened? Go on. All right. So how do you feel when you see, one of your kids going through like a physical circumstance, sport injuries or anything like that? Like, does it?
I get very well. Kevin does also. We both, get very worked up. We get, even they yell at us like, "Stop it! It's not the end of the world. It'll be fine. We're okay. It's okay." And we're like, "Okay, how are we going to get there? When are we going to get there? What's going to happen?" Constantly calling. How's it? I mean, he would text us, call us, with big bruises on his leg, on his arms, and constantly if he was hit with the ball, if he slid into the base, and banged up his hand. And so it was always, something. Obviously he's in Philly, we were in Jersey, and it's like, okay, well, what do we do? It's like mode, kind of like panic mode, like when are we going?
Yeah, luckily I was able to play 5 years of college baseball with no injury, no serious injury. Obviously some hiccups here and there. This hurts, that hurts.
Yeah.
I'll call my dad, who'll be like, we'll do this, and if it still hurts, but usually it kind of just goes away with time. So I'm actually very lucky that I was able to.
Yeah.
Well, one scary part was during his freshman year, right about a week
Yes.
before his first game, he says, "Dad, I got hit in the head with a baseball." He sends us the video.
Yeah,
I have the video.
video.
The video. They were practicing and live pitching.
Helmet,
He had a helmet. It was
inside.
It was indoors. He gets hit with, what was it, an 80-something mile an hour?
I think it was close to 90, maybe 88 to 90 mile an hour fastball inside.
I don't care how big the helmet
Yeah.
is. That's gotta hurt.
Oh yeah.
He gets hit and
Concussion or anything?
No, well, that was the whole thing. It was a week before his first game at his college game, and he didn't want to miss his game. So, of course, there is a concussion protocol you have to follow.
I was out for like 3 days.
Yeah,
I think it
3
was. I
days.
thought I had one.
Right.
That thing hit me, and I remember I just walked forward, took off my helmet, dropped it. My ears were just ringing, and I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "This, I've never been hit like that before." And then their coaches came over and over there, like, "Yo, so I sat on the bench, and I was like, "All right, I'm ready to go." And I get up trying to go to the field, like, "Whoa, no, you're not." And we used to do night practice at this time, so I think it was like Wednesday night, and it was like 11 p.m. on a Wednesday, so I had to wake up for 9:30 a.m. class the next day, and my ears were ringing. And they were just like, just sit, just relax, whatever. So then whatever didn't play for the rest of the night. Wake up the next morning, went to class, and I had to go to the trainer. And that's when I started that like 3-day protocol or whatever to go back. Didn't have a concussion. So
yeah, he didn't have a headache. He didn't have double vision, nothing like that. So he was okay, but obviously it's scary, number one, because he got hit in the head with a ball. And the other thing was just the timing was horrible because he didn't want to miss his first collegiate game.
Yeah,
and it was threatened.
Yeah.
It was a threat that he might not be able to make it because of the concussion protocol. But thank goodness everything worked out.
Yeah.
And he did great. Yeah. So
even if I think I woke up with a headache, I still would have been like, "No, I got nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm ready to go."
He brings up a good point because there are a lot of times that he's told me that some of the kids on his team would get hurt. They have an ache, they have a pain, they get hit by this, and they don't want to tell the coach, they don't want to tell the trainer because then it could start, a ball rolling down a hill with a protocol, whether it's concussion protocol or the trainers are very, very protective of their athletes, and rightly so.
Of course.
But sometimes the coach we need that pitcher on the mound. We need that guy playing first base. We need that guy behind the plate. Please don't take him out of the game. If he says he can play, let him play.
Yeah, of course.
It happened a lot during hockey.
Hockey's a different
man,
thing.
yeah.
Hockey was
Injuries in hockey.
They were so lenient. You'd come out for like a shift or two, and then you'd be like, "Yeah, you're fine. Go back out there."
But let me tell you, with hockey, you brought up about how your heart stopped, or that's my term, not yours. But when he would play hockey and they would play heart checking, anytime that he would check somebody, your heart as a parent would drop. Even if it wasn't your child involved with that play, your heart would drop, and you're saying, "Please get up, please get up." And then 9 out of 10 times, both athletes would get up, and they'd either continue to play, or one would go off into the bench to get replaced, to get checked out. And so very rarely in all the years of hockey that he's played, I think I may have seen 1 or 2 plays with him and his brothers that have played where they actually had to stop the game because of an injury. Been very, very fortunate. But yeah, it does, your heart skips a beat when you see anybody going down.
Sebastian's, and I think it builds character too, but Sebastian, for the very first time when he's playing soccer, and he's maybe 3 years old, and he gets like checked with this kid, and he always played with children that are bigger than him. I mean, it was bad. So here's me, like, you know, and soccer fields are big. So I am running all the way around, right? And I can tell from the sideline, like I got a peripheral view, I can see the coach running across. And I'm thinking the coach and I are both going to, like, I'm scared because I'm like, something is wrong. Because Sebastian doesn't really cry, but if he does, something is up, right? So the coach wasn't running to Sebastian. He was running to me. And he just put his hand right on my chest. He's like, stop. I was like, wow, I'm going to go check. He's like, no. Let him build his character. Yeah. He's like, he's supposed to get hit. Yeah. He's supposed to fall. And he's supposed to realize I'm okay and get up. You're not always going to be there for him. And I mean, walk of shame. I mean, I am walking and this is before I lost 55 pounds. So I was a big boy. Right. And I am walking all the way back, and I'm realizing, I'm like, yeah, I always tell every single person, like, you got to build character. So I'm sure it built his character going through those circumstances as well.
Let me tell you another very quick story. This happened when he was in 8th grade. He was playing ice hockey. He was playing in this league for our Red Bank Catholic.
I was just going to say this story.
So it was sort of an introductory league where he would play with the players from Red Bank Catholic. So here he is, an incoming 9th grader. He's in 8th grade, he's becoming 9th grader, and he's playing with sophomores, juniors, and seniors.
Small kid on the ice.
He's the smallest kid on the ice. And he's playing with 17, 18. He's playing with young, grown men. And it's full contact. So I'm there. It's Denise, myself, and my father's at that game. He gets checked. He gets checked so hard by one of these bigger kids on the ice.
In the middle of the ice.
The middle of the ice.
The middle of the ice, head down. Like
his feet go up. It looked ugly. He just lands flat on his back, on his head. And one of my heart skips a beat. Thank goodness he gets up, he goes off the ice, and I say to Denise, I was like, Denise, we can't make a big deal of this because we can't say how you do, what's wrong, because psychologically we don't want that to affect him. So let's just not bring it up. Let's let him bring it up to us. So he said, okay. So at the end, he's in the locker room, game's over. He comes out of the locker room. He says, Mom, we didn't say anything to him. Hey, Alex, how you doing? He goes, Mom, Dad, did you see me get trucked?
I remember, I will never forget about that play. Puck got hit into our zone, and I was going down for a breakout pass. And meanwhile, I haven't played like contact hockey really growing up. I played like house league. So like, I didn't really play like full on, like, I'm gonna kill you pretty much. And so we're playing RBR. So it's technically it's the other Red Bank school. And so I'm coming, I'm turning, waiting for the breakout pass, heads down, watching the puck. He passes me the puck. Puck hits my stick. I kid you not. 5 seconds after the puck hits my stick, I pick up my head, boom, I get hit. And all I remember is just sliding on the ice going, yeah, that hurt. All right. Got up and then just started skating back to the bench and getting off the ice.
And what's the story? Do not skate with your head down.
Yep.
Skate fast. Get rid of that puck.
Yep.
Wow. And now you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now that's amazing. And thank you for sharing. I do have to ask. So I got the story from Mom, but I got to make sure, in activity first, it's either Friends, Big Bang Theory, or Sports Center. Sports Center, or if the Mets are playing SNY, right? Yeah, see, I know your routine. I'm telling you, I am the fourth child you don't know about.
He hasn't changed.
So I do know, and I was told that, during COVID, and obviously it was like, hey, let's just put something to get the morale up. And then it started with Friends and Big Bang Theory. And then even I wonder sometimes, is there an episode that you have not watched? Do you think you've watched every season, every episode?
Every single one.
Several times.
That's not the question. Here is the follow-up question.
Okay.
How are you still amazed? Because I've seen you so many times. You're like, still amazed, as if you're watching it for the very first time.
It's a great show. And, sometimes you do miss a couple little things. I was like, oh, I don't remember watching this episode. I don't remember this part in this episode. And it's just, it's just the best.
Yeah. So here's my question. Is there any Big Bang Theory or Friends at the house?
No.
No, honestly. Honestly, no. My mom watches
that's like
show.
It's the work thing.
That's the work thing. We get enough of 8 hours or 10 hours.
I did see some soccer on your TV downstairs when I walked by. He still was watching soccer.
All because of you, Ollie.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah. He has been watching a lot of soccer. Yeah. I think he was watching tennis too.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
you're,
we probably are the same. You know, it's either if we have the time and if it's an important tournament, we'll probably watch it. If it's playoff season, we probably watch it. But if it's regular season and it's not a high rating, we may have it in the background while we're doing whatever it is that we're doing. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you because we're still talking about the Gonzalez household.
Okay.
A little bird told me, that's him, that he is so passionate about making sure the pool is so clean. So much so, if you were to get a satellite view, you will know that this is Kevin's pool. How is his routine and how adamant he is about making sure that pool is extra clean?
I mean, I think this week it started the end of last week. I get up at 6:15 every day, and if I'm not like upstairs by like 6:30, he'll come and check on me on his way down to the pool. So he's going out to check the pool at 6:30 a.m. Well, most people are probably either sleeping or just getting out of bed.
Hey, speak for yourself, bro.
And yeah.
I'm up.
You're up. Yep. So he'll come down, he'll go outside, do whatever he's got to do with the filter, clean the pool and everything like that. No idea why no one's swimming in it for at least another 5 hours if Andrew even gets up at that time. And most of the time, even if Andrew wakes up early, he's not going to go swimming till later in the day when it starts heating up and everything. And then same thing, once he gets home at whatever time that may be, 5:30, 6:30, right out to the pool to check the pool, to clean the pool or anything like that.
And Andrew gets the duties of going to get the water tested.
Yeah.
Every other day, every 3 days.
A lot of times when I get out, the pool water, the place where I get my water tested closes at 7, and sometimes I'm not out. So I have to call my son and ask him to get the water
But
tested.
I do have to say, easy hack to get friends over whenever we need to. I just say, hey, Dad, friends are going to come over, come swimming. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, come by. No matter what's going on. Hey, Dad, a couple of my friends are going to come over and we're going to go swimming. Oh, yeah, the pool's clean. If it's foggy, I'm sorry. I'm going to need to take care of it.
I know because we spoke about it. The funny thing is, from in my world, there's a thing that you say, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think, that story speaks a lot of volume on who you are as not only a business operator, but what you do, as a physical therapist. You are so meticulous. I mean, I pay attention, your office is so organized in such a meticulous way, where things go, the signage, you can tell that you have a checklist from the moment you start your day until the moment you finish your day, from the bathroom, from, how the paper towel is never empty, how the toilet paper is so always checked. I'm telling you, I know.
Yeah.
No, but I connect with that a lot. I'm like that. I am so meticulous. In so many different areas, it has to be done the right way or not done at all. And where did you get that from? Because you're not a robot, but you are so adamant and passionate about being that way for the sake of the business and for your patients as well.
I think it's my parents. My father he wasn't career military, but he was in the military. So I did get a little bit of that kind of discipline, so to speak. And my mother, be polite with everyone. Make sure you plan ahead of times. And I guess I was very involved with Scouts too. And Scouts, their motto is be prepared. And, I sort of followed that as a young adult and, be prepared. Whatever you're going to do, be prepared, do it well, do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And then through high school, Seton Hall Prep, they teach a lot of, strategies to be successful in life after school. And of course, college, if you want to do well in life, you have to succeed in whether it's college, trade school, or just be good at what you're doing. And I just learned a lot of lessons and just applied that everywhere I went. So.
That's super. I mean, I'm telling you, and just so you know, everybody notices, not just me.
Right.
Everyone sees how meticulous you are, how the Alexa is making sure that the quote of the day is every single, I'm telling you, if there was a book, we all can write our own version of, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, it is a reflection of why the business is the way it is. I think, and I genuinely believe most people, when they're done with their sessions, they're disappointed that they're feeling better. Right. You become part of that routine. No, I mean it. Mm-hmm. It's I look forward every single time. I'm I'm going to get first 10 minutes when I'm at the heat pad and, I'm going to listen to my meditation. And then after that, I'm going to, there's a sense of feeling good about being there. And I just, it's incredible because most people don't get excited about going to physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to give life to an environment like that, Kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Before we go to break, tell me a little bit about your influence from parents and what makes you, because you are a little bit of the opposite, Kevin. They say a male releases 2,000 to 4,000 words a day. A woman releases 4,000 to 8,000 words a day. That's why usually, women will be like, "Oh my God, let me tell you about my sister. What happened?" And you're like,
Yep.
"Mm-hmm."
Well, that's because you guys
Yep.
don't listen, so
Yep.
we have to constantly repeat ourselves.
But I will say, you are like, Kevin can talk in every single bed, from bed one
Yes,
all the
yes.
way, right?
Yeah.
You're like more like, I'm just here.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your upcoming, like your influence, your parents. Were they military?
Nope.
Tell me a little bit about your
My
parents.
parents, my father was, well, both my parents, blue collar workers. My mom worked in a factory. My dad worked in, warehouse.
Your father was in the military in Colombia.
Well, in Colombia, though.
Yes.
He was
Okay.
military in Colombia. But yeah, I mean, hard work, just work. Earn what you have. Work for what you want.
Old school.
Old school, very old school.
Well, speaking of old school, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about future. We're going to talk about family and legacy. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Did you miss me? Did you like that commercial? Hey, make sure you visit us at winwithali.com if you need help with anything PR, if you need help with anything social media, and make sure you check us out. We are right now at the studio here in Eatontown, New Jersey, where we are helping entrepreneurs, business operators to get their voice out. So if you're a podcaster, if you're a content creator, talk to me. I want to hook you up. And yeah, I want to collaborate with you. So visit us, winwithali.com. All right, we're back with the Gonzalez family. We've covered so much, from being a collegiate athlete, from being an amazing boyfriend to a gorgeous girlfriend. That's Alex,
Yes.
for the record.
Yes.
Want to make sure that that's noted, right? And then, of course, we learned a little bit more about the incredible Kevin and Denise Gonzalez and their background. Let's talk about future, right? Don't want to get into politics, but we are living in interesting times, right? Everything is more expensive than it ever has before. I know, as a business operator, I'm feeling it. Rich and I talk about this all the time. Our business depends on the success of other businesses. And when the economy is bad, consumers don't come out. They don't spend as much money. When they don't spend as much as money, the business owner gets hurt. The business owner, when you come to them and say, "Hey, I want to build your business and help you expand," they're like, "Yeah, I'm okay for now," because times are tough.
Right.
How are you seeing the future of business? And I know, the healthcare overall, since Obamacare launched, it took a huge turn.
Yeah.
what is the future of physical therapy, and what do you see in your future as well? And that's a big question, but I'm intrigued to hear on your perspective for the general population who may be in the same predicament as an entrepreneur.
What the problem that we have with physical therapy right now, I think I've spoken with some of my peers who don't own physical therapy offices, who own, other healthcare offices as well, other practitioners. And one thing that we have is we can't just arbitrarily raise our prices, because we have a contracted rate that we have with the insurance companies. And the insurance companies, what they do is with everything that's going on with inflation, I've asked probably about 12 or 13 of my insurance companies to say, hey, look, can you increase our rates? You haven't increased our rates since 2010, since 2012, in some cases 2006. And they say no. So here we are, we're trying to give the same quality service, but it's more difficult because we can't ask more for our services. And when the insurance companies say it's a contracted rate, we negotiated this rate, that is not true. They tell you this is how much we're paying for physical therapy, take it or leave it. And with some of these insurances, it makes it tough because, the inflation is tough for everybody. Some people have, let's say, $60 copays, right? And, as an example, if they have a $60 copay, and let's say for that insurance company, I get $75 for that visit. Okay. So if they come to me and say, hey, Kevin, I really can't afford my $60 copay. Can you waive it? And I can't, because if I don't take that $60, the insurance company is paying me $75 for that visit period. So they're only going to give me for that visit $15 under the assumption that I'm going to collect that $60 from the patient.
Correct.
If I don't get that $60 from the patient,
I've
lost $60. So I really can't help out in that regard. Now, a lot of my peers have, expanded their business to now they're doing massage therapy, they're doing acupuncture, they're
alternatives just to compensate for what they're missing out or losing. Yeah.
I looked into that, but I'll be honest with you, I just want to do one. I've been a physical therapist for 30 years. I do that. I do it very, very well. I'm able to survive doing what I'm doing. It's tough. It's getting tougher. Hopefully it'll turn around. But I just want to do what I do well and what I know. I don't want to, cross sell. Like you go to some of these other places, and I have patients that have come into me. They've said to me, Kevin, I want to come to you because I know you give great physical therapy, and I don't want to come to you. And then, I left the last place because they
added a nail salon next to it.
They tell me, hey, your back's really tight, but your neck's really bothering you. I think you benefit from acupuncture. So let me send you to my acupuncturist. So, let me make an appointment for him. So they're trying to cross sell you.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't want that to be my business.
Kind of somewhat compromises the integrity.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't want to do that. And for me to stick to what I do well, it is tough. I'm not going to lie. And I hope it changes, but and I'm still trying to reach out to the insurance companies, but it's tough. But so far, it's doing okay, and hopefully it'll turn around. As for the future for physical therapy, I think we have to get a grasp of that. I think that maybe DOBI, the Department of Banking and Insurance, really should look at that and maybe force some of these insurance companies to be a little bit more open-minded, because here you have some of these insurance companies that are recording record profits, and I call them up and send them a letter, and they're not even returning my phone calls. So, and it's pretty sad, and that shouldn't be allowed.
You're right. Does somebody may be watching this and may say, well, you just need to market yourself better. Do you think marketing has something to do with it? And obviously marketing requires resources to spend. And if the resources are already tight as they are, how you want me to market? Like a catch-22.
Right.
Yeah. So, but do you think marketing would help somewhat?
Marketing always helps. But I have businesses out there that have a lot more money to throw at marketing efforts, and they're more successful.
So they cross sell by any chance?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do cross sell. And then the other thing too is we're trying to get on these lists for some of these doctors, some of these big doctors program. They have their own list, own provider lists.
Yeah.
And okay, you live in Eatontown. I have a list with all these providers in the Eatontown area, and I've been in practice in my office for 18 years. I've been trying to get on some of those lists, and I can't get on. And I've had some of my competitors a couple of miles away. They've been in practice for 3-4 years, and they're on that list. So, and I keep trying to say, how do I get on these lists? I call up these doctors' offices, and it's a tough ceiling to crack.
I think we should get a sign and put, Gonzalez Lives Matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Seems to work nowadays. Yeah.
No, it's definitely, there's a lot of competition, and I'm okay with competition. Hey, I'd love to corner the market, but I'm not going to be, selfish and, and greedy and say I want it. I'd like to, but I know there's enough patients out there for everybody.
Yeah.
And I know I do a great service, and you're right. Maybe the marketing to get out that I do better service than the cross-selling practice across the street. I just have to make sure I say that message louder than them, and hopefully people will hear it.
Well, we hope that we can help here as well. Mrs. Denise,
Yes.
I would love to hear your perspective as a couple working together. Does it ever carry you over? Oh, you did a side eye. Is that a sign? Is that a safe word? Okay. Tell me about how do you figure out, like my wife and I, we work together at home, but she knows her magic and I know mine, and I know when I need to run out of the house. No, I don't. My wife, and I love you. I know you're watching this and you're going to say something. I love to work from home. I love to work from home. We have this space, but I come here like maybe 4 hours a week. And I have this habit when I'm on Zooms all day, phone calls all day, and I'm always like, shh.
Yeah.
And then my wife would look at me like, I live here.
Yeah.
Leave. Like, this is my house. You can't shush us here. We live here. So tell me about the dynamics of the business partner, the colleague, and then the wife. Does it ever cross over? Because you guys are definitely gelling. You can tell, like, you're not faking it. But how do you create a dynamic, or like, tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, it definitely has its moments, and some days are a little bit harder than others, depending on what's going on. But we tend to work it out. I mean, work is work. We collaborate at work. We do what we need to do. He treats the patients. I do the front. We when you're there a lot, how we talk and we chat, and I can do that with other patients as well. At home, it's usually get home, we'll eat something. He goes downstairs to the family room, starts watching his soccer, his whatever he's going to watch. His
kind of decompresses a little bit.
Right, exactly. Or else, and then, I go up to my room, I'll watch Netflix, Suits, of course.
Our room.
Yes.
Our room.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Not your
just so you know. Let me tell you. I genuinely believe that's a Colombian thing. So my wife is Colombian, and she does this. No, don't do it. Rich is like, don't do it. Okay. I have to say it. I will say. Oh, so okay. So Maritza, my wife, she always, she's like, I'm going up. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm going to my room in our house, just by ourselves. I'm like, okay, like your room?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, I'm going to my bed. I'm like, you're not getting what I'm trying to tell you here. She's like, what? You have an issue with me going to sleep? I'm like, no, I'm going up with you, but you're saying I'm going to my room. She's like, what do you want me to call it? Why do you ladies do that?
I don't know.
Here's the other thing, and please tell me if I'm wrong. When Sebastian and Isabel behave bad, she would say, your kids.
Exactly. It's your side of the family.
I see.
Exactly.
And then when something is good, they're like, my little children.
Yeah.
This is what I taught them.
Phenomenal.
Yes,
Okay. All
that's how
right.
it
Good.
goes.
Okay. So I was thinking that there's like, an end to that story, but that's a lifelong thing. Okay. Well, I get the separation of work and business. Have you ever had the one time, and you can wink if you are not finished, have you ever had the one time where, you guys bumped heads, and then, you walk in because you're usually there first, and then you come in with your Dunkin' Donuts from the back door, and you're like, hey, everyone, Kevin.
Yes.
You haven't had that before?
Absolutely. If I even say that.
Yeah.
I just walk right to my desk.
Yeah, I
He
hear you.
knows. He'll know.
I hear you. Hey, Alex, watching your parents, what would you say the biggest lessons that you've gotten from these two amazing human beings as a person, or as whatever you want to share with us?
Kind of how they, going back, like how they split up work life, and then back home is how they kind of separate things, whether it be problems, issues, things going on in life, and how they're able to either put it aside or take, I guess, initiative on the issue or the problem or something like that. Kind of how they like move things around and manage their life. I think I take that. Pretty strongly, and like they've taught me that, obviously, of how to deal with certain things. I guess that's the way to put it, is really how to deal with certain things.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
you leave things at work that belong at work, things at home. It's
Mhm.
totally different, you know. We focus on us, focus on the boys,
Yep.
you know what.
And one thing that I will say, and Denise and I have been married for, this year's going to be 28 years, I think.
God bless.
Right? Is, you know, if we have a fight or an argument, we try not to go to sleep mad at each other. We try to take care of it before we go to sleep. Whether we agree to disagree, and that's fine, that happens. You know, you don't have to agree with everything. You know,
You actually let an agreement go?
so,
Has he ever told you his
Right.
mantra that he
yeah.
doesn't
Oh
follow?
yes. Well, I might have. Okay.
He
real
doesn't
quick.
follow it.
Well, if we have, you know, if we have a fight and I'm wrong, I'm man enough to admit I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
If we have a fight and I'm right, I'm man enough to admit I'm wrong. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's pretty much helps me.
Blink if
Yeah.
you are a fear.
but no, we try to, you know, not go to sleep mad at each other, take care of it before we go to
Yeah.
bed, because when we wake up, it's a new day.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And
So
we don't yell and scream at
No.
home. We don't have fights, or you know, sometimes you know we'll get a little.
no, I get it. You
heated, but
figured out your
Yeah.
mechanism on how to, you know, and I'm glad you're sharing that part of, because, you know, sometimes people see a couple that are happy and they're trying to compare themselves. Like, you know, it's no secret, I write my notes to my wife every single morning. Like
Mhm.
that's a mechanism that I learned back in 2014, and it was random, for those of you who are wondering, like, oh, he's so cute. No, I was in trouble the night before.
I'm like, why can't you be like Ali? Facebook.
You
I'll write
have
you a note tomorrow.
no idea how many times, you know, we'll go to parties and whatnot, and then I'll get the ladies like, so let's talk about those ones. I'm like, no, we are not doing that, because I see the guys doing this.
You're gonna
like,
get beat up.
You know, I'm like, and I tell the guys, look, don't be mad at me that I did my homework and you didn't. You know, like, every relationship has its own dynamic, has its own ways of figuring it out. That whole no to my wife thing started in August of 2014. We had a very rough year. Like, it was horrible. Like, I mean, thank God we didn't divorce, but we weren't together, essentially. Like, I got successful in business and didn't know how to handle it. I was young and I was scared. Like, I can't go backwards. I was freaking homeless in Morocco. So for the first time I taste success, I'm like, I don't want to go backwards.
Mhm.
And I would like book a flight one way to Ohio. And, you know, she'll call my phone at 4 o'clock. She's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in Ohio. What? Yeah, the team needed me. For what? They need training. Well, when are you coming back? I'll let you know tomorrow.
Mm.
One-way ticket. Now, imagine you do that with your gorgeous girlfriend and how that's gonna go. Then we'll wait for it. This is when social media just started to pick up. You know, Facebook is starting to be hot and whatnot. And, you know, I'm now with a Mr. Mehdaoui to the group of people that I just spoke in front of. I just became this motivational speaker. And then everybody's like, after party, Mr. Mehdaoui, there's this club. I'm like, VIP on me. Let's go. Because I'm trying to maintain the ego, right? The arrogant numbnuts that I was. And then we will go out. Now, who's calling me? There's this beautiful Colombian woman in New Jersey. The phone is like ring, 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 ring. And guess what this numbnuts is doing?
Decline.
Red button.
Mm.
Because I got a Colombian hottie who's going to be like, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? Why aren't you calling? Blah, 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 blah. And guys, guess what I'm saying? When I come back to the hotel, I will call her back. And then I'm like, one more drink on me. But this idiot, see, my mother always says, if you're stupid enough to lie, steal, or cheat, you should know that you're stupid enough to get caught. I'm getting pictures by everybody on Facebook, tagging me, hanging out with Mr. Mehdaoui. They're bragging about me. Guess who's seeing all those
Of
pictures?
course.
Yep.
So you're in a club, music, lights, and there's no context. All she's seeing is,
Yep.
and the phone is getting hung up. And then I will go back to the hotel, like, you're blowing my phone up. So that created a huge. Now, thank you, God, I've never been with anybody else. And I know I get made fun of this. I've been with my wife since high school, and I've never been with anybody else since, right? We're high school sweethearts and whatnot. And I am grateful to God that it was a rough year, but it was the best thing that's ever happened to us, you know, because we learned how to live without one another for 1 year. We learned how, you know, it is said you got to figure out how to make yourself happy in order to make somebody else happy, right?
Yeah.
So August 2014, I, you know, from the tough guy who, like, I don't care, please take me back. I, you know, told her, I'm like, if you give me a chance, I will be the best person that I can be to you, yada, yada, yada. I will put you first. Never will I put business first. And then the very next morning, I take my phone. I'm thinking, like, it's a new day. We just figured things out. So I write a note. And I mean, when I tell you, she reacted like I did the most heroic thing ever. It's like I just came back from World War II and I'm the one who killed Hitler, like, and I was like, that's all they took. So guess what I did every single morning? I'm like, I'm doing this freaking note every single morning. And that's when the note to my wife started. And I never, the only time that I don't do it is Sunday mornings. I don't touch my phone. Sundays, my phone doesn't even go on social media. I leave it on the side. But anyways, so I'm glad that you guys figured out how, to kind of create your own elements, because I don't think that any relationship is perfect. As a matter of fact, when a relationship looks like it is perfect, that's when it's scary,
Right.
So now that's kudos to you. Now I'm gonna come back to you, and I got an interesting question to you. You're in the finance space, right?
Yes.
What's your take on cryptocurrency?
I was in Bitcoin back when it was like, oh my God, I think when it was around like 15,000.
I'll tell you my Bitcoin story a little bit, because the guy across the table from you, he and I talked about cryptocurrency. He's not a fan.
I mean, I don't really have a take. I put like $100 in it when it was 15. Then when it shot to like 45,000, 50,000, I took all the money out, and then it's been like up and down, up and down. I'm not a fan of it. I don't really touch that kind of stuff, to be honest with you. I haven't touched it since I put money in and took it out.
So here's my claim to fame with Bitcoin specifically. 2015, it was $751. Why do I remember? Because that's when I bought 11 Bitcoins. And I held on to them. Yeah, I held on to them until 2017. And I was consulting for a company called CoinMe. This guy, JD, right, out of Sacramento. We're talking and catching up. I was supposed to help them expand in South America. CoinMe is the company that does the ATM machines for Bitcoin, for crypto. So I'm talking to him. He's like, yo, what's up? He's like, sell. I'm like, what? He's like, sell. I'm like, what do you mean sell? It's about to hit $20,000. He's like, sell. I'm telling you. Fine. I sold all my Bitcoins. I kid you not. Within 3 days, it crashed to 6,000. And it stayed at 3,600 for about a year and a half. Now, 3 days later, I was like, all right. And in the financial sector, this is like insider trade and stuff, but crypto is not regulated. So
yeah.
Like, how'd you know? It's like, well, 40% of the crypto that is available around the world, Bitcoin specifically, is owned by like less than 1%. A lot of them are in Russia and all those sketchy places. He's like, so we got word that, hey, we're about to take out our money. And I was like, why would they want to do that? Well, when you take out the money, the volume drops. And when the volume drops, so does the price. And I was like, okay, so what's going to happen next? He goes like, eventually they're going to put it back little by little, little by little. I'm like, it'll probably hit $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. What age are we living in right now? Mm-hmm. It's over 65,000 and it keeps fluctuating between 50. Yeah. So that was the fear to me that was put into me. And, ETFs, a little bit of a different story now, like, the exchanges. I think the ugly side is almost phased out. You see the CEO of Binance got in trouble, like he's probably going to end up in jail, and all these. Tom Brady, they scammed him out of $30 million. I'm like, with Tom Brady and all of the legal resources that he has and all the lawyers around him, if he got played, what's going to happen? So I understand that. But I do think the best is yet to come from I think is the future. Looking at crypto. 30% of the actual money in the world is cash. Only 30%.
Yeah.
70% of the money that exists never gets printed.
Yeah.
It's literally just digital currency. So it already exists. I think crypto is just expanding the horizon of the possibilities, and it lowers the overall formality of companies to be able, like, I'll give you an example. The travel company, we wanted to expand it. We couldn't, because you need licensing all over the world in order to register a company, $50,000 in the EU and whatnot. But with crypto, I don't have to. Anyone with a wallet can do business with us because we now have a smart contract with crypto, and anybody can use our travel services. That is going to be the future, and many companies are going to be like, this is an opportunity to expand.
I was going to say, I heard about some companies that were accepting crypto payments for like cars and all kinds of things.
Now we got countries that are accepting.
Yeah, yep. I remember all that.
Yeah. So
I never really got into it. I never really got into it. Never really followed it or anything like that. That's why
all I say. There's one thing that's interesting to me. JP Morgan and Chase, the chairman always gets, every chance they ask him, he goes like, it's the biggest scam. Bitcoin is the biggest scam. Well, guess what company buys the most Bitcoin in the world?
Mortgage.
Really?
Yep. So the myth or the thing that everybody says is like he says that to drop the price, and then the company goes and buys the most, and then they resell it or they invest in it. You know, and when they ask him, is like, how could you say that your company, your institution is buying the most? He's like, it's not us, it's our shareholders. But I'm warning all of our shareholders in case ever goes wrong. You know, and then there's the conspiracy theories that, you know, it's Putin and Russia that owns, and for the most part, the reason why Putin is always so adamant about all things, you know, he owns a lot of cryptocurrency and all of his oligarchs do, but the sanctions block all of that. So you remove the sanctions, he's got it all. So that's why there's a lot of, and for YouTube and Facebook, and I know you're trying to block me from this message. I don't care. That's the facts, and the facts are for that. Because they try to hide us sometimes from when we mention those names. All right. As we are coming towards a close, you appreciate you sharing with us a little bit about what you got out of your family. If your 3 boys, including one is in here, is watching right now, what would you want them to hear from you as their mom? Let's say if they watch this video 10 years from now, what would you want them to see and hear?
That I love them and I'll always love them. I'll always be there for them. Our door's always open. I don't care where they are, who they're with. They're always welcome back home.
Right on.
I agree.
I couldn't say it any better. There's a camera right there. Your boys are watching. It is 20 years from now. And what is your message to them in 20 years from now?
20 years from now, hopefully the lessons that you have learned with us raising you, you will take to heart. If you don't understand it now, the lesson, maybe you will in the future. I hope you will. I hope you'll take it to heart, and I hope you carry that down.
Pass it down to your children, my grandchildren.
Our grandchildren.
Yeah.
Here she goes
again. Here she goes again.
Again.
You're never gonna win that battle.
No.
Just yeah. Like one day she's gonna be like, that is my grave.
Right.
You know. But anyways, listen, I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. I know it's been a long time coming. You and I have had one a long time ago, but it was a virtual one only. But this is a home for you. Anytime you want to come through, you know, you want to bring your gorgeous girlfriend that I cannot wait to meet because she's amazing and she's your girlfriend, Alex Gonzalez's girlfriend. There he is. She is his girlfriend because he's taken. And I appreciate the fact that you are taken. But you know, I'd love to have you guys back at any time. The studio is yours. You want to record, you want to do anything. I am a huge fan of yours as a couple. I'm a huge fan of yours as business operators. And I am forever grateful for today because it shows that, you know, the American dream is well and alive, no matter how crazy things may look for the outside world, no matter how partisans people can be. We are still one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And this is coming from a kid who was born and raised in a third world country and only been here for 22 years. So I love this country and everything that it stands for. And you are a pure reminder of no matter what background, what creed, what political views, what religious views, lack thereof, you absolutely can still show empathy, love, care to everyone. You literally, with your own hands, are caring for people from different creeds. And I pray to God that, you know, things get better because I know it's been a rough almost decade, you know, since a lot of things have changed. And I will do everything in my power to kind of share your message and share with everybody. So I appreciate you all for being in here.
Thank you.
Thank you, my man. You
Thank
have
you. Thank you.
had your
Awesome.
very first podcast. I can't
Yes.
wait to have you in here.
Yes.
God willing, talking about your portfolio and your financial career.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an exclusive of the ME Show. My name is Ali Mehdaoui, your strategic partner. And until next time, peace out, everybody.